Yeah, what's poppin', man? It's your homie Boo Bang, back with another motherfucking Boo Bang theory. You know, it's been a minute since I did the last session the title, image, and our addiction to it, right? I had to take a break, man. You know, it's been a lot of high energy coming in, and so I had to take a little bit more time out for myself and keep myself grounded and to keep myself rejuvenated, right? Also, too, today is the 19th of February, and we got the new super moon, in Pisces tonight. So this is supposed to be a very strong, energetic moon and energetic time for manifesting and bringing things into existence. So you can go, do your research on that though on your own and learn more about that. Anyway, though, to get back into what I was talking about, last time I stopped, I was talking about the kids and growing up through the school, and we stopped at age 11. And, at age 11, you sixth grade, and back a little ways back, a little bit before I got to middle school. Elementary school used to have sixth graders. So it used to be like kindergarten all the way up to the sixth grade. But, by the time I got to middle school, they had just like changed it not too long before I got there. So sixth graders start to go to middle school. And so, 11-year-old in the sixth grade, from leaving a school of being a fifth grader, being the oldest person in the school, the biggest person in the school in elementary, from fifth grade going to middle school to being in sixth grade, and now being the youngest again and smallest in the middle school out of the 6, 7, and 8-year-old 8 grades. So there becomes a point when you are vulnerable in that stage. You're the new kid on the block again. So unless you had siblings or cousins or people from the neighborhood that you knew that went to that school, you was just trying to feel your way around in that new school and that new surrounding with around older and more mature kids. And so that time could be kind of rough on you. And for me, like I said in the last video, I was shy, at sixth grade. I was especially being around a school setting. I wasn't so much as shy in my neighborhood because I grew up around them from 6 years old to up until 11. I got familiar with the people in the neighborhood, so still a little shy, but not like in the school setting. I was really shy, and got taken advantage of often in early 6th and 7th grade. Anyway, and so at that age, man, it's difficult to adjust, because now at some point you're going through puberty, or you're starting to go through puberty, and you learn about puberty, and you're starting to like the opposite sex. Hormones is going and shit like that, right? Also, influence is big at this particular time too, with the peers and the people that's in the school. Because like in sixth grade, as I recall it, you had the small cliques of different groups of people that hung out with each other. And if you weren't in one of those groups, you know what I'm saying, you was basically an outsider, you know, you was a loner, you probably, you know, ate by yourself or you ate with other loners that weren't in the clique groups, you know what I mean? It was like the nerds and shit like that, right? And so you had the popular kids, you know, in different groups and shit like that. And so when being in a group setting like that, when you finally started becoming to your independence, you also now are easily influenced by your peers, and so that's where our image begin to take different turns than where it's supposed to really go. You know, like we start to portray this false image, we start to build this false image from this point on, I believe, because of those circles and those social circles that we involve ourselves in at that particular time in life. Because you know, you gotta understand, in middle school, that's when you start having you know, sports. You know what I'm saying? Extra curricular activities outside the school and shit like that. And you start to, you know, visiting different schools. You start to having school games, and the main drive of this thing be like competition. So that's when competition get real. You know what I mean? Where to you want to be the best student in the class and shit, type of shit like that. So everybody's at a competing stage at this point at 11 years old. That's when competing really start to take effect. You know, you got gym class, and you know that's all based on competition type settings when you in there. And so you know, everything in school start to become a competition. And so we start to take that in. And so everything in our personal life outside of school too becomes competition. And like I said, so being in them circles, we tend to take on traits from different people, you know, that's involved in that circle. And so most of our thoughts is not even our own. We sharing thoughts and collectively within each other, outside of the influences that we all bringing in from outside of the inner circle, right? And so that's what, when I talk about image, I wanted to go here first instead of talking about how to dress and all that first. That's the least of it. You know what I'm saying? It starts here. You know, it's inner deep. It's inside, man. It's not out. It don't start with, you know, on the outer appearance. It starts within. So anyway, so age, you know, and you know what's crazy? At age 11, let me tell you a few things I've been through by the time age 11, right? Age 5, I'd already encountered my first, I had my first encounter with, what I want to say, negativity or violence. Like I told y'all before, I had some older dude slam me on my head for thinking I pushed his little relative over off his bike or some shit like that. So anyway, at age 5, I already understood that now it's violence in the world, right? Not too long after that, you know, the man I knew as my father, right, passed away. I think I was like 6 years old. And you know, that void after that, not being there after, you know, being around him for so long, I think that void was there. Also, had a young relative, a young cousin pass away when I was about 6 or 7 also. Then I was in we ended up being in our house caught on fire. Burned the fuck up and shit. We had to jump out of that motherfucker to save ourselves. And that was like 7 years old. Shit. Panhandling. I was panhandling. I was going to Crown Center stealing shit. 8, 9, 10, 11. Between 8, 9, 10, 11. I was going to Crown Center stealing shit out of the stores, hopping on trains, riding to Kansas, stealing the Benz logos and shit like that off cars, Mercedes Benz and shit like that, emblems off the cars, taking the silver caps, put them on our bikes, stealing bikes, breaking in shit. This is 8, 9, 10, 11, up into 12 too, but I'm just saying at this period of time, this is all I was going through at this point in time. Stealing shit. I also had a job too though, at 11. He was making $3 an hour at a vending company, Lee's Vending Company on the west side. Me and my brother worked there. I worked there. I was 11 years old, 11, 12. You know, so I did a lot of shit. Even you know, with the Michael Jackson concert. I don't know how we won tickets to the motherfucker. I don't know how they gave some kids some tickets to Michael Jackson concert, but we ended up winning some tickets and saw the Man in the Mirror concert at Camp Arena, man. Yeah, like 86, I think, 85, one of them. And so, yeah, I did a lot of shit, you know, from 6 years old, 7 years old, all the way up to 11. I was, you know, so I look back at it like, damn, at 11 years old, kids is smart, they do a lot of shit. So I had to go back and look at my own life like, shit, I was doing a lot of shit by the time I was 11. I was kind of doing a lot of shit, you know what I'm saying? Thought I was a ninja and all kind of shit too. But anyway, so as you you know, you move on to 12 years old, we're in the 7th grade, and then the pressures get more intense too, you know, like the more we go into these, cause I remember like at 7th grade, bam, it was just me and my brother at the school at first, you know, he's 2 years older than me, right? Then my nephew ended up popping in the school where I was at, and so they gave me a little bit more, you know, courage, you know what I mean? I had backup, I had somebody there that I knew, you know, that was family, you know what I'm saying? Outside my brother, I barely ever seen him in there. And, you know, my nephew was, you know, a little, 1 year behind me, but he was about the same age, so, you know, 7th grade, I started, you know, being more, well, we skipping school and shit, we moving out that motherfucker, going to get liquor, you know, going to steal shit up the street at this liquor store and shit like that. Coming back, bringing the liquor on. I remember this shit was on the news. One time we was gonna do a field trip and shit. They found all the liquor everybody had stolen, brought to school. I think this was like 7th grade and shit too, Westport Middle. And so yeah, kids do a lot of shit at that age, 7th grade and shit like that, 8th grade. And so, you know, but the thing is, and two, I wanted to say, at the age of 1 through K through 5 though, like the things we learning there, because you know we really ain't learning too much at that age right there. You know, kindergarten through 5th grade. I think I got it wrote down somewhere. The basic shit that we learn in school and shit. In between those grades and them ages, I think it's like math, science, social studies, literature, history, you know, ABCs, 1, 2, 3s and shit like that, spelling, from K through 5, you know, and art, PE, and those like the basic things we learn from 1 through 5, right? I don't know, I'm probably missing 1 or 2, but it's just the basics at 1 through 5. So then when you get to 6th grade, you start doing the algebra, different, more advanced mathematics, and more advanced social studies and literature and shit like that too. And but it's still pretty much basic. I remember when we used to have like arts and craft, or we had wood shop, or home ec, you know, or had the cooking class. We had shit like that in there in the schools and shit that they pretty much kind of weeded out. Even like music classes, a lot of schools don't even got music class no more, shit like that. Or you can go bring instruments home and shit. But that shit is crazy how, you know, the schools is a lot different now. But anyway, so when you go into 6th and 7th, 8th grade, man, it's a little bit different. It's more peer pressure, you know what I mean? And so our image starts to become something that we pick bits and pieces from our surroundings, you know what I mean? And so it's something like an alter ego, you know what I mean? It's this persona that we build up in time, you know, from the things that we go through, because you got to understand, in middle school and shit, you got ROTC and shit like that, snacks you know, ideas about the Army and the Marines, and you got ideas about college, you know what I'm saying, in high school, you got ideas about finding a job now, you know, so all these things are hitting you. Now you starting to get ideas about politics, you know what I'm saying, and so more things start to hit you at that age, and it's a young age to start taking in all this stuff, and we really don't learn too much though about skills like gardening. You know, we used to have some types of shit like that now, and now they trying to bring shit like that back. But you know, like shit that's really gonna help you, like different trades, like trade schools. You know, they try to branch out and have the trade schools separately, so you have to pay for that shit to learn it. And so they really took that shit out of the public schools wherever they